Hello, hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to our Sama Dog Saturday reunion. My name is Amanda Rhee. I'm the founder of Sama Dog Wellbeing for Dogs and Their Humans. And every Saturday we come together at 9 a.m. for a little dog talk. And today we're doing something a little different. Usually we meditate together. I hope some of you are jumping onto the line now. And Renee's managing the camera so we can get some different angles today. So I'm not able to see your words and comments and as you're jumping on, but he'll tell me when you have something going on. And if you have any questions along the way, definitely let me know. So typically we are meditating this morning together with our pups, but what I thought I would do today is a little something different and prepare some meals for different mind-body types of our dogs. So if you don't really know much about Ayurveda or what Sama Dog does, just in a nutshell, it's all about Ayurveda, which is the science of life. It's the science of the East, the sister science to yoga and meditation. So it's kind of in that body of knowledge. And it's a whole healing science guiding us on really all aspects of our day, our life, and certainly what we eat in order to help us stay balanced. And if you don't know yet, that's what Sama means. Sama Dog means balance, equanimity, like your ultimate harmony. So what we can do is choose foods according to our mind-body type or our dog's mind-body type, and that helps us to be able to help to keep them in balance. So just in a nutshell, without getting too into these details, if anybody's curious to learn more, there's certainly a lot of resources that I can share with you and just hang out with Sama Dog for a while. We are in the midst of a 6-week class right now called Total Wellbeing for Dogs. It's my online course that people from all around the world are learning how to care for their dogs and really diving into each of the 6 pillars of well-being. So this week, our conversation was all about nutrition and food. So that sparked in me a desire to want to share with all of you a little bit more because, as I said, what we can do is by choosing certain foods, we can help our dogs to balance. And when they're balanced, they then have the best chance of vitality in their body. Their immune system is at its highest. They sleep best. They digest optimally. And therefore, they're most healthy and they live the longest that they're meant to live because their body is so healthy and their mind is healthy. It's pretty remarkable how strongly our dog's food influences their behavior. So there are 3 mind-body types if you're not familiar. It's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So Vata is the airy dogs. These are dogs that are lighter in their body, usually long, kind of lankier limbs. They're light in nature in their mind, so they're very friendly and outgoing and energetic. They're always kind of fidgety. They're always the life of the party. They're always up for a good time, but they also do get anxious and worried because they're ungrounded. So what we want to do with their food is ground them. We'll get into it. And then with the next dosha, Pitta, that's the fire element. So these dogs are really hot, so they're very intense, they're driven, they're focused, they want a job, they are on point, they're really easy to train, but they do get overheated quite easily. So inside the body, they can have a lot of digestive issues or skin issues because that's where kind of the heat lands, or behavioral, like with aggression and things like that. And then there's last, Kapha, but not least, is Kapha dosha. Kapha is the earthy dog. So these dogs are heavier set, bigger boned, typically weigh more. They're slower. They're very friendly, super easygoing. They're the dogs that, get along with every kind of animal or child, baby, bird, can climb on their head and everything else. They're just really easygoing. But when they're out of balance, though, that easygoingness, that heaviness can get too heavy, lethargic, reserved, and getting weight and things like that. So they can get a lot of congestion or stagnation issues in their being. So those are the 3 doshas in a tiny nutshell. Again, if you want to learn more, I've got tons of resources for you. But what I thought we would do today is do a meal, different kinds of meals for different kinds of dogs. And so it depends on what you feed. I really like to meet people where they're at. So whatever you're feeding now, you can start to add some fresh foods because that's ultimately what Ayurveda and this science of life is all about, is bringing as much life as possible into our food, whether you're human or a dog. And so we're trying to bring fresh prana, life force, energy-filled food into our being. And so whatever you're feeding now, if you can just start to add on a little bit of these foods, it's great because it can really move you in the right direction and make some big changes for your dog. So there's something to say about like what your base is and the kinds of meats that are in there, but I'll also mention a few moments on that. So let's start with Vata, shall we? So we have dogs of each dosha in this house, and we have a boarding dog right now. Let me introduce you, Rico. Rico, come here. Hey, buddy. Hi, buddy. Come here. So this is Rico. Come here. This is Graham. And Rico, come here. Here, I gotta give him something. That helps. Come here, Rico. Oops. Sit, sit. Good. Good, sit, Rico. Oh, he hasn't had this egg before like this. He's not sure what it is. Oh, you're into it. Here, you get some too, Graham. There you go, buddies. So those are our boys. So I'm going to cook a little bit for Rico too, because I want to show you kind of, again, you know, what the different food bases are and then what you can do to add. All right, so we're starting off with Vata. Again, that's the airy sign. So if your dog meets that description, this might be helpful. And what is good to know and keep in mind with Vata is that you want to ground them. You want to moisturize them, warm them up, and ground them. So I love to start with, for our Vata, this is a food that I highly recommend, and I talk to a lot of people about. It's called the Honest Kitchen. Here's the box if you've never seen it before. So this is the base that we start with for Maya, and you know, some of the dogs, I add a lot of stuff, some not as much. With the Honest Kitchen, there's so many great ingredients in there already that it's just amazing. You know, it's got all kinds of super healthy things. I'll just mention actually a couple of the ingredients here. This is a beef base, dehydrated sweet potatoes, organic flax, organic coconut, dried parsley, dried papayas, cranberry, pumpkin, honey, kale, etc., etc. So there's all kinds of good stuff in here. Specifically why I target this one for Maya, our Vata, is because beef is a more grounding meat, where chicken or turkey is a little bit lighter. So you want to go with the animals themselves that you know that they're consuming. Choose the protein that is a heavier, kind of more grounded animal to bring that energy. So we have the dehydrated beef. And since I don't see the camera side of everything, Renee, if anybody says hello or comments, let's call them out. Who's on the line now?
Melody Gooch and Christine Shanley.
Hey, Christine. So we've got, so Renee will keep us informed of who's on the other line, but I'll keep talking here. So what you do with this dehydrated food is obviously all of the hydration, the moisture is removed. So you're adding back about 1 to 1. Now I go a little more water than it says on the box. That's just me. I really love to hydrate the dogs. Our dogs, now the dogs are coming around. Our dogs are more, all of our dogs are typically dehydrated quite a bit because obviously if you're just feeding kibble, way lower amount of hydration than your dog actually needs. They need like 70% and kibble's like 17%. So I like to really hydrate everything a lot. So we start with this base for Maya, the Honest Kitchen, and then you let it sit for a few minutes. You know, it says, I think on the box, like 3 to 5. I do like 10 minutes just to make sure it's all nice and soaked up. So that's where we start. I love to add for Vatas a little bit of ghee. I'm not sure if you know about ghee. Ghee is clarified butter, big in the Ayurvedic tradition. Go. So butter in general is not the best thing for dogs. So you're just doing a tiny bit. Maya is our cockapoo. So she's about, like 20 pounds. So we're just doing a tiny little bit of ghee. And why I do this is because it's pretty much just like an oil at this point. It's clarified butter, so all of the impurities are taken out, and it smells really strongly and delicious. So it really gets, Vatas sometimes can be a little inconsistent with their eating. They're not always hungry. They're inconsistent with everything, really, but their eating is just the same. So this will help them to really gain that appetite. They smell it and they get all excited. Then we have a little bit of sesame oil, so just a tiny bit. Sesame oil is great for dogs, and different oils for different doshas. Sesame is a really good one for Vata dosha. Very grounding and hydrating. So we mix a little of that in there, and then I wanted to do it anchovy. Let me get a fork for that. Anchovies, so these are anchovies that we bought just at Trader Joe's, and they're packed in water. So you want to make sure that you're not getting your anchovies packed in oil. Water is best, and anchovies in general are fantastic for dogs. They love them. Not only obviously another good smell for them, but really super high in omega oils. So you can see how, you know, we've added so much hydration. I would add a little bit more anchovy typically. You do about 1 anchovy and a little bit of the water if you want. And then a half of an egg, just a little extra protein, also a grounding protein for them, and just a little extra nourishment, extra calories, and also helping the Vatas to eat their food because eggs are delicious to dogs. And so you just mix in some of those freshies. And this is our Vata balancing meal. And if we wouldn't have to, we feed the dogs in different areas, so I would feed them to show you. They do love it. But we want to kind of keep things calm here too and get everybody organized. So that's your Vata meal, V-A-T-A, Vata. Next one, Pitta. So Benny is our Pitta. Some of you are familiar with our terrier. So this meal actually is already prepared because Benny had some allergies about a month ago or so. He's very allergic to chicken. He got some chicken treats by accident, and so his allergies broke out. And his allergies manifest as a lot of heat. So his belly was very hot and red, and a lot of just rashy and blotchy, licking the feet, panting, laying on the tile to cool down. So with all of that in mind, we really wanted to cool Benny and give him some nourishment to help kind of kick out the allergens that he was facing. So he's doing a lot better now. So now we've kind of scaled that down. That's a different conversation of how we really initially treated the allergies. But now what we're doing for about another month or so, letting him get stabilized and let the immune system keep doing its job. Now what I have here is a little bit of beef, because chicken and any kind of bird was not great for him right now because of the allergies. So we've got beef, and then we mixed in here a lot of different veggies. That's sweet potato you see, and then we've got celery, Brussels sprouts, kale, broccoli, all in there. And so this is what it looks like before it gets cooked up. So we just put the beef, the hamburger in the pan, cook it just a little bit. For Benny, we're doing the cooked meal. Now this can be raw as well. Side note, if you're feeding raw veggies, just make sure that they are pureed like this, chopped really finely. The casing does need to be broken so that the dogs can digest it. Having a big chunk, like cut a Brussels sprout in half, that's not going to work for your dog. They might eat it, but they can't digest it well. So we have added the veggies in there. We added the sweet potato. We also cooked it in coconut oil. So coconut oil is the perfect oil for for dogs in general, but especially for Pitta dogs. Cooling oil, and really good for their skin, their brain, their heart, their digestion, their microbiome. A million reasons to use coconut oil. So that's already in there. I might just add actually a little bit more because that's, extra good. Let's go with this spoon. Try not to contaminate everything here. So we've got a little more coconut oil. We've got his food that was warm a little while ago. We just cook it about, halfway. With the meat, you want to keep that rawness a little bit on the inside. You definitely don't want to overcook your dog's food and put it up to super high temperatures. That's the whole problem with kibble, right? Is there's no more life in that. So you just want to cook it low. And so we've got, let's see here, we've got our Brussels and all of our vegetables. We've got our coconut oil. Oh, I wanted to add a little bit of goat milk. Perhaps you've heard me talk about this before. My favorite brand of Answers is the name or the brand of this goat milk. This is a dog version of goat milk, not the kind you're going to buy at Whole Foods. This is raw goat milk. It's also slightly fermented and unpasteurized, so really good for dogs. They absolutely love it. Super good for their immune system and boosting, giving a kickstart to the digestive tract, and great because it's so boosting for the immune and the microbiome, the digestive flora. It really helps with allergies because it will help the body again to naturally do its work and kick the allergens out and be able to fight it. Because there's allergens all around us. We're all receiving them constantly when we're breathing and touching and eating, but our body's taking care of it. And sometimes not.
And Susan McGarrett says, this is so good.
Yay, Susan, I'm glad you like it.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to give you all, different kinds of meals, as I said, too, so you can start where you're at. So some people home cook, some people do all raw, some people do just kibble, some people do Honest Kitchen, and some people do, we've got also, we'll do that next. We'll get into the raw patties, but some people buy, raw already prepared. So, wherever you're at, just add on some dosha-specific toppings. So we've got the goat milk, and then lastly for the allergies, so this is a brand of herbs that I love, and I carry these too, actually. The other things I don't carry, but these are Ayush. These are Ayurvedic herbs sourced by the Sodhi family, the whole line. They are family, so back to who cultivates the land and plants the seeds is the Sodhi family. So it's really super high quality, very potent, and they're also made for animals, so for pets. There's a whole pet line. So this one, you'll see a little poodle on the front here. So this is neem. Neem is a great herb to cool and very good for the skin. So because Benny's allergies were so hot and kind of very present all over his body, really on all of his skin, I just give him half. So for his size, he's about 15 pounds. So he gets half of a capsule, and then I just save that for later and mix that in. Now sometimes with herbs, you want to do them separate than the food because sometimes the dogs don't like the smell of them, and if anybody ever wants some counsel, some guidance on all of this, please remember I do 20-minute free consultations for anybody. Really, totally no strings attached. Just give me a call. I'm happy to help you and give you some tips.
Do you want a question?
Sure.
Yes. There's a question from Susan McGarra. She says, well, I have a very small dog, a Shih Tzu Yorkie, with a very sensitive stomach. Do you have any specific guidelines? Because sometimes, they throw up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Yorkies usually are a Vata, the dosha that we spoke about, the last one, the one that needs more grounding and needs more is more airy, so therefore needs more grounding. Very common for them to have digestive imbalance. So basically what we talked about with the Vata meal, making it more grounding and moist, I think the goat milk would be really good for your Vata dog that has some digestive issues. There's an herb called Triphala, little coconut oil, really looking to maybe add some probiotics and enzymes. So you might want to call me. We can do a quick chat and I can give you some specifics, but that would be great. Really what you're looking to do with your dog with any kind of digestive issue, and really any dog or human for that matter, is you're wanting to work the microbiome. You're wanting to build this gut flora and really feed the body with all the microbes and the enzymes and the richness that they need in order to digest optimally. They're just lacking that a little bit, and it's just the food and the environment. Same for humans.
Different topic. One more question. Denise Dale asks, any herbs prevent fleas?
Yes, well, herbs not as much, as we have a flea essence, a flower essence that we put into our dog's food at every meal. They get 5 drops. I have it featured, well, it's not featured anymore, but it is on the website. Happy to share more about that. That works remarkably for us. It's like the cleanest thing you can possibly give a dog to fight fleas. So we're huge fans. Also, just food-wise, a little bit of garlic can help. Just a tiny, tiny bit of garlic, like one little sliver, one little medallion diced up. Put it in the food each day, and it has to be fresh garlic, can't be already chopped, because that is how it releases that. I think it's a I can't think of it right now. The name of the ingredient that is within the garlic that pushes away and fends off the fleas. So I have more tips for that if you want to connect offline. Okay, so our last meal is kapha. Kapha is again the dosha that's the earthy dosha, kind of that heavier. Rico, where did he go? Rico's a perfect example. Oh, there he is. I thought that was Maya. Rico is a perfect example of a kapha dog. Yes, I'm talking about you, mister. You can see how he's just chill, super friendly, gets along with everyone. Some dogs come in here, and especially Maya gets sensitive and growly and kind of snappy. And nope, with Rico, she's easy as can be. So Rico's the epitome of kapha, and you can tell that he's a little slow. His digestion is slow. His energy is a little heavy. So I think he needs a little lightening, actually. So with Rico, he's a B&B. We have a B&B for dogs here. So he's one of our dog guests. And obviously, I follow what the, human companions currently feed. I'm not going to change it while he's here. So they feed him this really high quality kibble. It looks like it's Origins to me from my kibble knowledge. So we start with the kibble at the bottom, and I know a lot of you do that too. So this is a great way to see how you can just add in. So we start here, we bring in some light veggies, so pretty much the same ones that I used for Benny, ironically, just when you go through it, it's all your light, kind of your green leafies are very good for kapha. So that same energy that we have here in this mix is perfect for Rico, so I just put a little bit here. Now our B&B guests always get veggies and an egg, since it is a B&B breakfast, so he gets a little bit of egg as well. Egg's always good, for every dosha, egg's really good. And then some goat milk for him, because again, it helps to really kickstart his digestive fire a little bit more. Now with the goat milk, you just do a little bit. You can even, I love giving this to dogs like midday, like the Yorkie of Susan's, I think it was. Susan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your Yorkie, if you did the goat milk, you can put a little in the food, but even better is to do it like in the middle of the day. Do it when their tummy is empty, and then they just love it. It's a great little treat in the middle of the day, and also just gets right there to work in the belly. So we've got the goat milk, a little bit of cinnamon. So because kaphas are heavier in their nature, lightening them up with spices. So not, when we think spice, we think like, sriracha or something, right? Not like that so much for dogs, of course, but spices as in all the other spices. We've got, cinnamon and turmeric we're going to add to his, but there's, cardamom, nutmeg, basil, thyme, rosemary, like all of these spices are actually very good, just in small amounts, but very good for dogs, especially kaphas. And then there's certain spices good for other doshas as well. So a little bit of cinnamon.
Okay, and while you're putting the cinnamon on,
let's hear it.
There is a friend of ours. He said hello, everybody from Zurich, And we have Melanie. It says, this is awesome information written down somewhere, question mark?
In my head, there certainly is out there on the Samadog page. I've got lots of different conversations going on, articles. There's some videos there that also are some cooking videos. The funny thing is, I don't talk about food publicly in this kind of public forum very often. I was inspired by our class this week, and I wanted to share even more with my beloved students. But I don't talk about it a lot outside because there's so many strong opinions around food, whether it's human food or dog food. And I don't want to debate everyone. I personally believe in Ayurveda aligns with everybody is a unique individual. So everybody's food needs are slightly different. And that doesn't mean to overcomplicate it, but it does mean to, there's no one shoe fits all. One size, whatever. So my other herb that I'm going to put, so I put the cinnamon. We also have turmeric with a little curcumin, turmeric is curcumin, is the essential ingredient inside turmeric that's so healthy. And then CoQ10 is also mixed into this particular herb. I love this. I take it every day myself for joint problems that I have, a little bit of arthritis. And so super, super helpful for that. Great for aging dogs. I think it even says it on the lid here. Yeah, perfect for aging dogs. Curcumin, obviously very good. Turmeric for anti-inflammation, but also the CoQ10 is the joints, ligaments, tendons. Super healthy, great for kaphas because kaphas do have a tendency, as I mentioned, to be that in their body a little bit more, so they will have more weight and therefore sometimes have a little congestion and get achy joints, slow processes of the body, and they need a little lightening up with all of this. So we take a little bit of turmeric.
And Melanie is asking, where do I find information on the classes?
Oh, yes. On the website, why don't I do this? Below, I will post the exact link to take you over to the classes of Samadog. But we have classes that are online. I'm going to do this big program, the 6-week course that I'm doing. We're going to do that twice a year. So there will be another one coming in the fall. And I think you'd really love it. There's so much information. It's great to have some real time together. But then we do also local classes and some online. So I'll put the link below and you'll find it on samadog.com, SAMA-dog.com. You'll see under resources, we have classes and all the different consultation, everything's listed there. Okay, and then lastly is some ginger. Oh, not lastly, because we didn't add the meat yet. So second to lastly, a little ginger. Ginger is awesome for kaphas because it really stimulates the digestion. So this is perfect for kapha dogs or people. Now what I did was I took a little bit, maybe even a little smaller than this medallion. And Rico's a bigger dog. He's 60 pounds or so. So I just minced it up. Probably should be a little tinier than this. And then you just drop it in. Now what you also can do is put one little sliver of ginger in their water. That's another good way. Start really small. They'll get used to the smell. And then lastly, into this dish at least, we are bringing the raw meat. So this is a raw meat patty. Now we'll do all kinds of different meats. Let me show you actually what this is. This particular one is small batch. And why I really wanted to read this is because it says, well, this is what's in it. Turkey, turkey necks, turkey backs, turkey livers, turkey hearts, turkey gizzards, organic squash, organic celery, organic cauliflower. I'll leave off the organic, green beans, salmon oil, bok choy, apple cider vinegar, kale, dandelion, cilantro, bee pollen. I mean, this stuff is good. This would be good for us. Well, we're vegan, but other than that, if you were eating meat, this is a good one. But for our dogs who are not vegan, this is a great way to bring in all that fresh, raw, life-filled food and not have to chop it all up with your food processor yourself. I mean, it's got everything in there. So that's what those patties look like is this. They have raw, pre-made raw, and all kinds of different delivery systems. But this is, I know it looks a little strange. Some of the other ones, like the tubes, they look a little bit more like raw hamburger. But you can see all the different veggies and stuff in there. And then for him, I just put a little bit extra on top of his. Now you want to make sure that your dog has strong digestion if you're mixing the foods like this. Like kibble is obviously going to digest and therefore, break down and therefore digest at a different rate than fresh food is, just like it does in our body. So you just have to make sure that your dog's digestion is very strong. So Rico has been here a week and I've been watching. What I mean by strong is he hasn't had any diarrhea, no gas, bloating. He hasn't felt or looked uncomfortable. So it does seem like his digestion's going great. His poops are good. So I'm mixing it all together now for him. So I'm sure he's excited, as your kapha dog might be. to eat this delicious meal. So maybe not looking so delicious to us, but to dogs, it is yum, yum good. And this is a great light meal for your furry friend. So those, let's bring them back around. So we've got our pitta, our vata meal, warm and moist and grounding. Pitta meal, cooling, light, very specific herbs and ingredients to cool the body and the mind. And then kapha, starting with the kibble base as our boarding dog. You want to start with where you're at and build from there. And so we added on the raw and some other light veggies. So that is our story. If anyone has any questions, throw them up there. Are there any now?
No? Oh yeah, well the only question was now where do I find the classes?
Okay, great. So I will definitely post some more information below. Thank you guys so much for watching and caring about your dogs in this way, enough to invest this kind of time and effort. Obviously, I feel you and hear you, and I want to be here as your guide. So, whether it's food or whether it's lifestyle, training, your own relationship. I'm meeting with someone later today who's got 2 dogs and one of them is about to pass. So we're talking about how do we help that other dog and the other members of the family and the dog who's passing to go through that circumstance. So body, mind, and spirit is what it's all about here at Sama Dog. So we appreciate you guys being part of our family. Post any comments you have below or questions and we'll be in touch. Have a wonderful Saturday. Namaste.